Hey guys, let's transition here. How are you doing? Welcome. Sorry for the delay. For those of you joining on Instagram, let's see, is this working? Yes, it is working. I can't see the Instagram chat, but if you want a better view, definitely hit up the YouTube, just my YouTube channel, and you'll be able to subscribe and get notified. But I wanted to share with others today. So if this is your first time, welcome to Sketch a Day Live. I do this about 3 times a week now, and I will have a new stream next week. I'll just say that I'll be publicizing it soon. So just working with a few folks. So hopefully you guys are having a good time. If you are watching on YouTube, you'll get the overhead camera, for example, and a few other things, so be able to participate in the chat. Hit up the Discord if you are checking out the description on YouTube. We have a special chat room, and you'll be able to post sketches, suggestions, all of that good stuff. So just to kick things off, I'm going to warm up, and we'll go for about an hour and a half today. My apologies for the delay, but you know, life's a little bit weird right now. And had to run some errands, had to pick up some packets for my kids, for school, all that good stuff. So I'm just going to warm up with a Sharpie here. And as always, don't want to waste the paper, so I like to rotate and get a few other lines in. But once again, if you are joining on Instagram, thank you for being here. If you're joining on Facebook, welcome. Just a little experiment to give you guys a little taste of what I do on YouTube. I'm discovering that, you know, there's a bunch of different audiences, so it's hard to like organize all the communication so everyone's getting all the alerts and all that stuff. So YouTube is definitely the best place if you want to be notified. Definitely sign up, subscribe, all of that good stuff. So next, I like to do circles. Also, the YouTube stream is limited to an hour, so, or sorry, not the YouTube, the Instagram stream is limited to an hour. So if you want more, you'll definitely want to go to youtube.com/sketchaday.com. I do post the recording on Facebook afterward as well, if you want to check that out. Good evening, Success. Chris Antle, what's up? Thanks for joining and being a part. I'm glad you could finally make it. But all part of the process here, ellipses. Sometimes I'll do lines to kind of guide this, but felt like using this Sharpie today. I've got some new paper I'm trying out. I've got some new markers. We're just gonna have fun. So feel free to drop suggestions. Again, my apologies if you are watching on Instagram. I don't have a way of seeing your comments. So if you want to be a part of the interactive stream, definitely join the chat room, join the Discord, that kind of thing. Controlling via my laptop. I wish you guys could see inside the studio as well. I did add another camera just to give you guys a different perspective and point of view on YouTube of what I'm doing. You can kind of see my arm and all that. But the whole point here is to draw with my wrist, or sorry, not draw with my wrist, draw with my elbow and my shoulders. So this is kind of the other way. I like to do this. Warm up. Few straight lines, and now draw a series of ellipses down the page. This is just regular printer paper and a Sharpie. Happy Friday, welcome again. Thank you so much for taking time out to hang out and be a part of this grand experiment. I appreciate the support. And I know a few of you have asked in the past, what are some ways to support? Well, probably the best way is to visit sketchaday.com/store and see if anything tickles your fancy. And that's a great way to support. Or if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook later, I do have my PayPal and Venmo links as a means of support. And I just want to say thanks to those who've done that in the past. It's not something I require or request, but people have asked how to do that. So that's why I provide those links. So much appreciate all of that good stuff. All right. So I love suggestions. Feel free to drop a suggestion. Charlie, what's up? Welcome. Thanks for joining today. Alexander, what's up? Where's everyone checking in from? Let's do a roll call. Where is home? How is life? What's happening? Let me know. Looks like we've got about 30 people on Instagram. Welcome once again. I'll post on the Instagram here just a link to the stream if you do want to join. Bear with me, YouTubers. All right, boom. So if you want to join, definitely use that link. Let's see if I can pin this. What's up, Hector? Southside. I have no idea how to pin a comment on Instagram. So, oh, there we go. All right, there's my YouTube link if you want, or just visit the YouTube channel. All that good stuff. All right, so this is the paper I'm trying out today. It's Bianio. I don't know if you guys have used this before. I never have. I just wanted some cheap marker paper to draw on. Okay, we got a little roll call. Sam from Vancouver, welcome. Tom, what's up? Andres, hello from Colombia. ¿Cómo estás? David Drew from the UK. Wow, we got a worldwide show today. This is pretty fun. Thanks for taking time to visit and be a part of this. Much love, much appreciation. All right, so I had a request on the Discord today from, let's see, this was from Kenny 13856, and Kenny is asking about shapes and how to do highlights on those shapes. So I thought we'd do some organic shapes and maybe just practice a little bit, but feel free to drop some suggestions. If I get nothing else, then I will just draw whatever I want. So with something like a cylinder, let's do a cylinder. We'll do a cone, something like this. We'll do a sphere just to start. This is going to kind of be a full-on lesson, so thanks for the suggestion here. Well, maybe not a full-on lesson. Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. All right, so I've got some yellow-green markers I think I'll use here, and I'll just use these for all. So definitely go light till you get it right. Bonjour, Romaine from France. We got Jan Kowalski from Poland in quarantine. Dirk, my man. Dirk is awesome. He helped me with some tips on my brushes that'll be released soon. And I know I keep saying soon. Despite my best intentions, life has gotten the better of me this week, as we have all been kind of cooped up and, you know, just trying to make a go at it. I'm a full-time single dad, and it's really hard to balance everything sometimes, so thank you for understanding. All right, so traditionally speaking, with a cylinder, what I like to do is, let me just do a top view here so you can kind of see. So if I'm looking at the cylinder from this point of view, or just for, it's not going to be consistent top to bottom just because of how this is being drawn. But if I am looking at the cylinder, like here, for example, but my light source, this is a light bulb, by the way. My light source is over here, and light rays are, well, let's say it's not a light bulb because the light rays wouldn't be parallel, but that's just a technicality. I have light rays going like so. As the light rays pass the cylinder, I'm going to get shadowing, okay? Let's assume there's just one light source. So the back of this would be dark. Now, with reflections, what you need to consider is that if a light ray hits a surface, it actually takes this angle and reflects this angle back, okay? This is called the angle of incidence. Actually, this should be I for angle of incidence and the angle of reflection. So I know this is super technical, but only if you, I really do believe in understanding the principles of light and shadow and the mechanics of things, because it makes drawing that much easier. So the angle of incidence equals the angle of reflection, and that happens normal to the surface. Normal means perpendicular right here, okay? So if this second line is hitting the surface, the normal is actually going to be different. And so this normal changes as you move around the cylinder, okay? So if this normal is changing, this angle of incidence and reflection is changing. And so at certain points, you're going to get highlights and shadows, basically. Now, this is too small and messy for me to explain much further, but what that means is that at a certain point, you do get something called a shadow core, and where the light is most intense and reflecting the most towards you, you get a highlight. So I kind of start shading like this, and then build up that shadow core and so forth. Don't be afraid of contrast. You might notice I'm leaving a little bit of white to the side here. For those of you on YouTube, I'll zoom in so you can see, but leaving a little bit of white here, and the white is representative of some sort of reflected light in the environment. So as I'm observing this, there might be secondary or tertiary light sources, and so I need to take those into account, all right, as I'm drawing. And so that's what the white on the side or the periphery is for. Okay, so working light till you get it right. Once again, thanks for joining if you're on Instagram, but the better experience is on YouTube, so join there. And I will post this on Facebook as well as an archive, so you can check that out. So now that I have kind of my core being built up, I'm gonna try and create a nice gradient. And so far, because I'm kind of reviewing this marker paper at the same time, so far it's pretty good. It's cheap too, which is nice. I don't like to spend a ton of money on stuff, even though, yes, I may sound like a hypocrite because I'm drawing with Copic markers, but at the same time, I do believe in buying it nice, or you buy it twice. All right, so nice contrast. Always helpful to kind of squint at your sketch as a way of eliminating the detail and focusing on the value. What's up, Senthi Kumar? Thanks for joining from India. He joins us every week. Thanks for being a great fan and supporting. Much appreciated. All right, so that's kind of just a general cylinder. If you are on the YouTube as well, I will say I'm going to post a Google Drive link, and this Google Drive link will contain all of the sketches that I produce on a weekly, I guess 3 times weekly basis now on YouTube. So check that out. I'll pin that in the chat so you can check that link out, but that does contain all of the sketches that I produce here on the channel. All right, so a cone you can kind of think of as a cylinder, but it's almost like taking this circle and just shrinking it down and keeping this one the same. So if we keep this one the same on the bottom, what's going to happen is you're going to get a shadow core, something like this, and a bit of tapering, okay? So you're going to get a bit of tapering, something like this. I may end the Instagram stream a little early because I think my internet is being crippled, right? But I'm basically taking what I did with the cylinder and just squeezing or pinching it all the way up to the top here, right? Contrast is your friend once again. So you want to push that contrast and see if you can get that form to read. And by contrast is your friend, I mean it's really the way you're going to show three-dimensional form. I'm not going to be doing digital sketching today, by the way. Just pen, paper, markers is kind of what I feel like doing. Now, a sphere is like taking the cylinder, maintaining this midsection in this cylinder, and pinching all of this kind of around. All right, this is more like an egg, but that's how my brain thinks anyways, is like, okay, let's take this top and bottom, pinch that together, and now you kind of have the cylinder. So that being said, how I shade this, okay, because there's still going to be a shadow core, but that shadow core kind of wraps. So if my light source, consistent with these other ones, is coming from the top and the left, I kind of like to shade my, I haven't done a sphere in a while actually, but I like to shade my spheres like this. So start light till you get it right. I actually started with my yellow, green 5, so this will be interesting. And so now in the middle here, just kind of come around and fill this in. Use the shape of the chisel of the marker, and I'm trying to just work my way up to kind of a highlight spot on the top, right? And now I can blend down like so, because I really just want a nice gradient, leaving some white on the outside, again, because of reflected light. We've got a couple requests in the YouTube chat for me to do some quarantine masks. I've tried to avoid capitalizing on the crisis. I feel like it's kind of in poor taste, but if there was an actual design competition or something, I don't know. It feels weird to me, so I'm not opposed to helping, but I'm not going to do it for entertainment value. So that's kind of been my stance on that, and so to each their own, but I'm not going to do it. All right. So just maintaining that blend, or keep working on that blend rather. Let your markers dry if you have to. Now I can take this 9 and just push that contrast. And again, squint your eyes and you'll kind of be able to focus on, okay, do I have enough contrast in this? Right. And so we have essentially a few bands, right? We've got here, we've got some reflected light. And, highlight right here. And this is my shadow core. Well, I should write that out so you guys know what I'm talking about. This paper is actually quite lovely. You can find it on Amazon. It's about $10 if you want to get it. I'll put a link here for you guys. This is how much I love you. I am doing the work, making this easy, if you're in YouTube anyways. Piano marker paper. All right, boom. Well, they raised the price. It's been interesting watching how things are changing, and they're just in so much flux lately, to where like one day I'll check a price on Amazon and then that thing will just be like an order of magnitude more expensive. All right, so the other thing I like to do, as always, is just put a little shadow, and these shadows are really basically just the shape of the object that I kind of project on this plane that I imagine, right? So in this case of the sphere, something like an ellipse here on the ground plane. Let's grab some gray markers. Again, my apologies, I'm a little disorganized today, but if you've been watching the stream for some time, you'll know that that's kind of a thing with me. As life happens, things change, and you just kind of have to adapt. All right, so we got some questions in the chat. Let's see. We've got Kenneth Benz is asking, is it the darkest part of the shadow? I'm not sure what you mean. If you're talking about the shadow core, then yes, that's the darkest part of the shadow. And the shadow core again happens because of how the light is reflecting off these curved surfaces, and how these surface normals change as you move around the object. So that's really what that's about, right there. Okay, so I have these 3 objects. Shadow. I'll finish the shadow in just a sec here. Let's just get a shadow on the sphere as well. Now I'm not going to get into reflections on these, but in the case of this one where the shadow is kind of hitting the cylinder, right, I'm just going to run it up the side here, use a little green and mix with some gray just to kind of mute. This Copic white is pretty much dead, but I'm just going to mix with some gray to desaturate it. Okay. Just on that cylinder, just like that, and maybe a little bit on the cone. But that's kind of how I do it. Now I can always enhance and keep building value on these shadow cores. For example, like so. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I did yesterday, and it's been an interesting week. I got some really good news. Like I said, I'm going to tell you guys about that next week, but I'll be doing some fun stuff online. All right, so there's my 3 shapes, and we've got shadow core, highlight, reflected light, and just general shading, gradient, and so forth. So it's kind of just a quick sketch overview of that. Now, as you move into more complex organic shapes, it gets a little bit more interesting because you have to kind of combine approaches, so to speak. So let's say I have a curved cylinder, right? We'll start with this. What's up, Ricky? Riddick, I mean. Hello, hello. All right, so let's say I have a curved shape like that. Similar approach and thought here. If I have a light from the top right, I'm gonna have highlight toward the top, reflected light, so preserving the white area on this shape. And then below, well, I've got to refill this marker. Should we do that live on the stream? Do you guys want to see a live marker refill? Let me know. Alright, so you're going to have highlight on the top, shadow core toward the bottom where the light passes. So let's work on this gradient. Like so. Build our contrast. If you want to see excellent marker skills and contrast, definitely follow, I don't even know how to say his name, Sangwon Seok. He does this Instagram called Skerin. It's pretty good. Check it out. He's from Korea. I don't know him personally, but been following for a few years. And he's totally inspired me to kind of push my contrast in my drawings. So feel free to check that out. Saulito, bienvenidos. ¿Cómo estás? Saul is my friend from college. Amazing, amazing designer, hustler, hard worker. Definitely check him out too. Feel free to post your Instagram handle if you want people to check you out. Alright, so shadow core, highlight, but you can see I'm trying to be respectful of the general shape of the form. So what if we had, let's see, a cylinder plus something like a sphere. Get your minds out of the gutter, but cylinder plus a sphere, something like that. I'm actually gonna have to refill this marker, so give me just a sec. I'm gonna push pause here and I'll be right back. Alright, so I got all my marker inks here for you guys at home and on the Instagram. Yes, I have a bunch of them, and I do like Copic markers specifically for this reason, because I can just pop the nib out, undo my cap, yellow, green 3, kind of supercharge it here. You have to take both caps off if you want the ink to really flow, okay? So a couple squeezes, and I just kind of watch for the bullet nib. If it's starting to get ink, then I know I'm kind of good there, but we'll just roll with it. And on the tip, chisel tip, I put a couple drops, almost to prime the tip, you could say. Maybe that's just superstitious of me, but that's what I do. All right. Once again, if you're on the Instagram, welcome, thanks for joining. But if you want to participate and all that good stuff, join the YouTube, be a part of the stream. I do this 3 times a week, soon to be 4. So exciting stuff, exciting times. All right, so in this case, similar thing. Now my marker's super juicy. There you go. Similar approach, right? Shadow core, shade the end here, just like that. And then on the sphere, what I like to do is continue that shadow core, okay? Continue that over and kind of shade like this. Or sorry, not shadow core, continue that highlight rather. And then toward the bottom, get that shadow core in, get our blends, build up the values, and hopefully you can kind of see what's happening here. I'm gonna give that a minute to dry. If you put too much ink down too fast, sometimes it can get a little bit messy, so you just want to watch out for that. Light until you get it right, and then when you're ready, commit and finish your sketch. Alright, so after this one I'll do something more organic to kind of explain what's happening with highlights. Hopefully this has been helpful and you kind of see what I'm doing here and it makes sense. I feel like I need some contrast on this shape, so just an old Prismacolor marker. Kind of block this out. That looks a little bit better. All right, so if there's some sort of organic shape, like let's say we want to combine something like this and something like this, and maybe this is some cosmetic device, or I don't know. Could be you know, something with a part line, for example, here, and I want to shade this. All right, I have to kind of think about the cross sections through this form. So as I'm doing this, I'm thinking of, okay, is this elliptical, circular, whatever. So what happens here is you're gonna get, and I'll do this with the YG3 first. So let's assume in this case I have light coming this way. I would reserve a portion of this for highlights, so kind of start like that. And then you're also gonna, because this bulges out, I'm gonna get another highlight down here. So I would kind of avoid that area. And then in between all this, just kind of fill in. I like to do the outline when I'm doing a sketch. For me, it just makes it a little bit easier to kind of fill things in and color. If you're using good markers and good marker paper, you can get those blends, okay? But if you're using just printer paper, it's quite a bit harder. All right, so I kind of start like that, leave it white, and then depending on how shiny this is, you can you know, work on that highlight, maybe make it a little bit tighter through there. If you have a lighter green as well, I should see if I have a yellow green one. And let me know if there's any audio issues or anything like that as well. This is all kind of an experiment of sorts. I gotta grab my other markers. Let's see if I have a lighter green that I can use here. Alright, got yellow green 5001. Okay, that's what I was after. So pro tip with Copic markers, if you didn't know this, they have numbers on the top. And so I have a 135, and the first number, 0, that you could think of that like the hue of the marker. Okay, so let me zoom in here. So you can kind of think of the first number as the hue, and then the second as the value. So I know these three will work well together. That's why I can just grab it out of the bin and trust that the color system will work. Another reason I like these markers. The colors are accurate and so forth. Alright, so now on the back side I can jump to my 5, 7, 9 and so forth and just work on that shadow core. If you do want to submit sketches, probably not during this stream, just because I'm a one-man show as far as being able to control cameras and all that. But if you do want to submit a sketch for the next stream, which will be on Sunday, you can join the Discord server. The link is in the description of the YouTube video, and you can post sketches. That's where this suggestion came from, so thanks again for submitting that. I think I'm missing a value, like I'm missing 7. I know I have a YG7 somewhere, but I feel like I'm missing it. I mean, I can make do, but why make do when you have what you need? Alright, 5, 17, 25. I don't know where my yellow green 7 went. Okay, may have to get some more Copic markers here. Alright. Let's just use this 6 as an intermediate then. Again, it's yellow green 06, so I just know it's gonna give me what I need for this blend. I don't even have to really check it. I don't even have to memorize the name of the colors, which is nice. Grant, welcome to the stream. Thanks for participating. Welcome everyone again. I think this is my biggest stream I've done, so I appreciate you being here. So if you can, well, yeah, the overhead light's kind of throwing us off, and that's really why I scan and post all the sketches, is so that you guys can see for yourselves what these look like, and you're not gonna go tell your friends, man, Spencer sucks. But yeah, you would kind of just work your highlights and shadow cores. At some point they're gonna disappear, reappear, that kind of thing, and that's what's kind of happening here. Let me just work on this outline as well. I am using a Prismacolor pencil. Links to all the materials I use are posted in the video description, so if you're ever curious and you're like, what pencil did he use? There's a few pencils I like to use that are listed there, so you can always check that out. Grant says he just bought the iPad Pro, the new iPad Pro. Lucky, dude. How do you like it? I just wanted to put a part line in there, just because. I feel like I'm missing some of my tools, but we'll make do. Stuff like this, you can add a little bit of gouache, for example. So I saw a request earlier for a car. I can do something like that. I try to avoid cars because I feel like people are always asking for cars. But if there's no other suggestion, I can do a car. Or I was at the store and I kind of wanted to do like a barcode scanner or something, like a little handheld thing, so I could do that. Maybe a couple other things. Epic Gamer says, I love your videos. I'm new, but so far they're 10 out of 10. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining and for being here. Harshit YT says it's looking like a shaver. I guess you could, yeah, I could see that. I can totally see that, but you can kind of take this principle. It's all about understanding the base geometry though, and seeing how you can apply those principles, right? And just think through when you do combine shapes, what happens. And yeah, you know, I could give a lecture on just surface transitions, and it would take hours. So someone asked what my marker storage is. Let's see. I'm gonna post this link as well. But it's actually like a hardware system that I have. So I have these power tools called Festool, and I use Festool power tools quite a bit in my woodworking, and they make these smaller version of these cases, and they all stack and lock together, which is pretty cool. So I can take this marker case, for example, close it like that. I can take this one, close it, and then, you guys on the overhead can't really see. Let me swap here. So I can stack them together like this, and then if I twist this knob right there, they now lock together. So I have kind of a stack, and then if I want to access, I just tip that down, and I can open and get what I want. I like it because they're portable. They actually fit the markers pretty well, and it's not an airtight container, which is the best thing to put your markers in, but it works all right. Okay, so that's those two. I'll just do a quick vehicle of some sort. Someone's asking for headphones, earphones, all of that stuff. Harshit says he loves the Lakers shirt. Thank you. That was actually a commission that I had for, or I had done for a friend, and you know, they're a huge Kobe fan, so that's why I did that piece. But I do commissions from time to time, illustrations and so forth. All right, Andrew T is asking, do I have an invite for the Discord? Check out the description in the live chat here. So on YouTube there's a little thing that says description. Check that out, and it'll have the Discord links, materials, my website, store, all of that good stuff. You can check that out. All right, I have no idea what kind of car this is, but we'll just go ahead and maybe I'll do something a little different. Even then, it's kind of easy to fall into, you know, our patterns. So, but maybe the side of this is a little different here. Should we put a body kit on this guy, like a big old body kit of some sort? Some crazy lights, grill. I don't know, just playing around. It'll just be a quick marker sketch, so if you hate cars, bear with me. We'll do something else after this. But definitely drop those suggestions in the chat. Ayushi's asking for furniture, compact EV. I guess this could be an EV of some sort. It certainly doesn't look friendly. I feel like a lot of EVs try to be very friendly in their appearance. This kind of has a more aggressive look, but we can always do an overlay too. And I may just do that in this case. I want the cab to be a bit more forward anyways. So I think I'm gonna do an overlay. Roshan, what's up? Thanks for checking out. If you want to know more about my video setup, all you have to do is go to the main YouTube page. I've changed it a little bit and it keeps evolving. I just added a camera yesterday actually. I'm thinking about adding another view, so if there's something you feel like you're not getting or you can't see or you wish you could see, let me know, and then I can, you know, adjust angles and do all that stuff. All right, so some wheels here. When I do this, I try to not trace, but rather redraw everything. So if you notice, I'm just using this as a guide, the under sketch, but really draw with your shoulder, keep that energy going. You know, if you want to modify your design, this feels like a Honda, but if you want to modify your design as you're going, you can do that as well. Keep it loose. Just have fun. Drawing is fun, right? I mean, it can seem stressful, but it's really just fun. Especially if you're drawing in your sketchbook, like, no one cares besides you when you're stressing out. But yeah, just have fun. Put on some good tunes, all that good stuff. All right. So we'll keep this super fast, super fresh. I see a bunch of suggestions. Thank you so far for those. Much appreciated. I'll let you guys fight over which one gets done. Alright, we got an interesting comment here from La Bounty. He says, I feel as though if you freehand the original, it's not really tracing. I see what you mean, and I could... These spokes probably aren't even, but it's okay, I don't care. Meaning front to back. I see what you mean, but what I'm talking about is like drawing really slowly over your sketch like this, just really slowly, trying to get it perfect, because if you do that, it's going to really suck the life out of your drawing. And definitely keep it light till we get it right. Riddick Ulis, drop that tip in. So thank you. And yeah, you know, light till you get it right. That's what you want to do. All right, what color should the car be? Let's take a poll. Blue, green, red. What do you guys think? I'll throw these markers, or orange. I could even do a brown vehicle. I have all sorts of colors. So we've got orange, green. I can pop out my reds here. Blues. You guys let me know. We'll make it happen. If this is your first time joining, please hit subscribe, turn on alerts. There's a little bell on YouTube and a big red subscribe button on the channel. You want to hit that so that you don't miss when I stream 3 to 4 times a week, and you know, do all this stuff. Okay, so we got to vote for blue, we got to vote for pink, black. That's interesting. I could do that. Yellow, lime green. Yellow would be interesting. Should we try yellow? I haven't really done a yellow car, I don't think. Yellow is really hard to do, so I'm kind of... I want to challenge myself live with you guys. So this might be a complete train wreck. But I'm going to go for it and see where we end up. All right, so my yellows are kind of all over the place. So let's see, I've got a 13, 11, another 13. I have duplicates as well. There's a story there. So 11, 13, 4. I'm going to pick... I need to pick something like dark as well. Here's a 28. I have 2 of those 28s. But yeah, yellow's tough because you kind of have to be willing to almost dip into browns a little bit sometimes and deep oranges. But we'll start with this yellow 4. Oh, I guess I didn't really finish the grill on this car. Let's see. All right. I'll just do that. And it's electric, so I don't have to worry about, you know, anything in here. Nice headlight. Yeah, I kind of like this actually. Turned out all right. Okay, maybe that's just a taillight. All right, so yellow. Let's go. So what I'm doing is over the wheel flares on this middle line, I want to have a strong yellow. I'm gonna get ground reflections as well. Let's get the side in. On the front here, right where it's kind of turning the corner, we're gonna get a little shadow core happening. So just beginning the blend right through there, over the wheel well, down, just like that, nice and this is like a bright yellow. So like I said, this might very well be a complete train wreck, but we'll roll with it for now. Yellow with some black things. Yeah, I'm gonna do the rims and the inside and all of that. I'll probably have to have a couple test spots as well. So, meaning I need to scope the color out on the marker before I commit to those marker strokes. So I just have a scrap piece of marker paper here. It now looks like an Audi. Maybe so. You know, car design, power tools, product design, it's really hard to get a distinctive look because we're just saturated with so much design and influence all over the place. So I get it. It looks like other stuff, but it is what it is. All right. So let's see. Let's check out these other yellows. So I've got this, yellow 18. I usually do this at the beginning of a long rendering. I'll kind of mark the colors just so I have a quick reference of what it looks like on paper. Y28. This is a 26. I like the 26 actually. Y26. This is my 13. Y13. For the highlights, yeah, I could use blue, but then it gets kind of, I don't know. It's a little risky. If I weren't doing this live, I might consider something like that. But hopefully you can see here what I'm trying to do is now you can see how contrast, well, maybe not you guys on the overhead, but the contrast here on the side, this is like maybe your horizon line kind of reflecting into the side of the vehicle, like so. This front portion though is going to be a little bit tricky because, let's see, I've got this 18, 13. Let's see if the 13 is not as dark as I want it to be. So let's see what else we have here. Every brand has their unique design style. Yes, that is true. Every car brand kind of has its own style. But my point is, it's just really hard to... It's really hard to do something that people don't go, oh, that looks like this or that. Just because we are kind of saturated and we see things all the time. It's just really hard to do something distinctive. not impossible. It takes effort. So with the marker, I try to, if I'm doing like a sketch rendering style, kind of lift the marker a bit and treat it like a paintbrush almost as I'm doing these strokes. Okay, so as I'm building, you know, taper off to the end, get that blend out. Don't be afraid of contrast. Okay, contrast is your friend, remember that. Squint your eyes as you're working, and that's going to give you, at least gives me anyways, a bit of clarity on the values that I'm using in my sketches. Alright, so like even taking this, I'm going to use the 26 because I like that color, but here on the light, you know, just on this light area, just use that really dark yellow. So we show that the surface is changing. Or wherever we have like, you know, a shadow core, or it could be, you know, the underside of the vehicle or where things wrap. All right, I'll check in the chat in a minute. Again, if you're joining Instagram, thank you. The stream will probably end, let's see, Instagram stream might be over soon, in a few minutes. I can't really look at those comments, but if you want to be a part of the YouTube live, definitely hit that up and join, and you'll be able to see all that. Sorry guys on the YouTube, I was on a not a good point of view there for just a sec. All right, so I feel like shading in a bit of the wheels and underneath, so just some gray like that. You know, the I forgot what you call it. Just having a brain freeze. And then on the inside of the vehicle as well, I'll use gray, or for example on the top, if the top of the vehicle is black or something. Kind of looks like a taxi. Maybe that's why you don't have tons of yellow car renderings. I mean, it could be a taxi. Maybe it's a environmentally friendly taxi design that we've got here. And then on the rims, kind of just working on some highlights. These are just it's just a simple design I like to use if I'm sketching a concept. It's really fast for the wheels. Just a little bit of contrast play in the right places, and you can communicate shiny wheels or textures or whatever super fast. All right. This is a Copic C10 marker that I'm using here. So it's not quite black. It's very, very, very subtle. Again, another reason why I post those scans after the stream. Usually it goes live about, takes me a minute just to recoup. And then I post, but about an hour after is typically when you'll see all of this go live. So if you're interested, check that out. And you will see all of that good. All right, let's just get this grill going. A couple marker strokes like that. Let's keep it simple. And then on the inside, I like, this is just a thing lately. I like having a hint of color on that gray, or if it's on the inside, just to tie it all together. I really like that. The headlamps I will make blue, yes. And then, whoa, that was a C4, so on the wheels, just to make them a little darker, and we'll use some white as well on the wheels. But just to make these darker, I'm using a C6 here. All right, keep it loose and sketchy. As always, thanks for joining. This is Sketch-A-Day Live, Fridays, Sundays as well. I will go live, and Wednesdays, and there will be an extra stream next week that I'll be announcing. Just a partnership stream that I'm super excited about, so look out for that. But most importantly, hit that subscribe button, turn on those alerts so you know when I'm live, join the Discord, come hang out, all that good stuff. And if you want to support in any way, links are provided in the stream for my Patreon, for my PayPal if you choose, or Venmo. Alright, so there's that portion. Now I'm going to kind of increase the contrast, like take it up another notch, right? So I have some weird surface things happening here. I'm not really sure, but sometimes when I sketch, I just try to keep it very gestural to start, and then when you're ready to go, you can kind of commit to some things and just define them a little bit better. I'm still like nervous on the front here, that's why I really haven't touched it as far as blends, but I'm just gonna go for it. So I have this yellow 28, and right where the front of the car kind of changes direction here, just scrub, and now I have, you know, a nice blended edge. Going back, that worked out okay. Let's see, Chris Antle, same time for all streams. No, it's not the same time, because what I'm trying to do right now is make it so that if you miss one, or if there's a time that just doesn't work, you can, you know, check into another stream that would have, or that you'd be able to join. So that's my thinking anyways when it comes to this stuff. Alright, I'm just gonna make the inside of the car a little darker here. Alright, I'll probably do one more, maybe two sketches after this, so let's see what's next. You guys tell me. Or I'm just gonna start singing along with my music until you tell me. Just kidding, I won't sing. Fun fact about me. I actually tried out for American Idol once. This is true. This is a real thing. This was back in, I don't know, this was what, 2007, 2008, I think. But yeah, that was interesting, to say the least. Maybe I'll tell you that story sometime. Alright, a little taillight action in the back here. Maybe a couple dots, just to keep it fresh. So we got car interior, comic character. I did a car interior last time, so I don't want to do it again. Comic character, I have to practice for that. But I'll add it to the list of things I will work on, and maybe next stream I'll do that one. But something product. Give me something product, or, you know, the usual stuff. Hope you guys are having fun. Thanks again for taking time out of your busy lives. I know we all have lots to do, so it means a lot that you're here as a part of this great experiment of mine. Oh yeah, furniture, coffee maker. I usually had asked for furniture. Is there a specific kind of furniture that you're interested in? I know there are some people that wanted like interior design as well. That's something I could maybe save for Sunday. I'll just have to plan it out, but definitely appreciate all the suggestions. And if your suggestion doesn't make it, that's okay. Like, I'm gonna be doing this a lot, so. Now on the wheels, let's do just a couple little tread marks here. You can also ask me life questions, career questions. I'm happy to answer those if you're interested. So yeah, welcome guys. I'm just trying to add a little clarity to some portions here, but again, I will be posting this so you guys can see it. I'm actually pretty happy with it. Surprisingly, I thought this would be a complete train wreck. Yellow is like literally one of the hardest things to do. So if you want to challenge yourself, try and do a yellow rendering. either digitally or on paper, and you'll kind of see what I mean if you try to do that. Let's grab some of this gouache or pencil, because I want to pop this area just a little bit. Boom. This is actually a Copic Opaque White. Comes with a brush in the bottle, which is kind of nice. Convenient. If you are going to use something like opaque white on your sketch, just make sure that it's the last or close to the last thing you do, because your markers will hate you. I'll fix that with some pencil, but your markers will hate you. All right. Okay, birdhouse feeder wrench. Birdhouse would be fun. Maybe I could do that. So maybe I'll do a birdhouse, and then I'll do like a sofa, because I got a bunch of requests for that. Okay. All right. So there's my car sketch. I'm gonna scan this. I do sell these from time to time after the stream. So if you're interested, let me know. And it's also another great way to support what we're doing here. I know everyone's going through a tough time, so even just being here is enough for me, and I appreciate it. Just a little bit of pencil. Kind of wish I had a brown pencil. That would be even better, but this will do. All right, something like that. There you go. So there's our yellow car sketch. So far we have done warm-ups, underlays, and all the underlays, warm-ups, everything is scanned and shared to that folder. So definitely, if you want some reference, or if you want to check that out, be sure to do that. Andres is asking for kitchenware. Is there a specific type of kitchenware that you're after? Let's see. Matt42305 is asking, what did I study in design school? I studied industrial design, so that's my major. All right, let's do just a quick modern sofa. So if you're doing something like this, I like to think of it in terms of form, divide, beautify. So even here, you know, I'm thinking of kind of the overall volumes on this thing. Kind of sketch this out first. Sketch the bottom, draw through if you can, like so. And now I can divide. You know, maybe the back of this is a little too high, so I'm gonna drop this down. We'll just keep this one super sketchy, super loose on this Friday. I'm gonna angle the back as well, ever so slightly. And now I can connect these two pieces there, and further divide into cushions. Now, if I wanted to find exactly the halfway point and so forth, I could do that, but what I just try to do is kind of guesstimate here. And you may notice that the line closest to us is a bit longer than the subsequent line and so forth, and that's because of perspective. All right, things closer to you will appear larger than things further away. If you're doing something like this and you happen to overdraw, meaning you have, you know, the wireframe and so forth, you can actually just throw a quick background on, and that's a good way to just kind of clean things up. All right. So there's a sofa without arms. I could add arms to this, but now I'll just continue to divide these cushions. Maybe add a little bit of a trim here on the back, perhaps, and then some legs. And maybe these legs are connected to that trim. All right, something like that. And I'll just do a quick drop shadow. All right, so now that the hard part is pretty much done, you just have fun with it. Throw some color on, pick a color, any color. How about this blue-green? So I have a blue-green 2. I wonder if I have... I don't know if any of you guys are Copic marker fans, but they're actually making some changes to the products. And so people are frantically buying up all the markers, and they're kind of hard to find right now. So the supply chain shortage hasn't just affected, healthcare workers who are trying to find N95 masks, but it seems as though some things in general are just way harder to get. Anyhow, I digress. But I bought a bunch of Copic markers recently because I've just been concerned I won't be able to get stuff. So that's kind of my rationale. All right, so let's shade this in. I'm leaving the top a little bit light here until we're ready. Let's see. This will be the lightest surface. So on the back, I will shade in a bit of the back, like so. And I'm going to skip some lines and kind of keep it, sketchy. If you wanted to even kind of crisscross those lines because the sofa is fabric, right? Sven is asking for a side view of a yacht. Maybe next stream. If you join us on Sunday, I could do that. I know we had a jet ski request last time that I didn't quite get to that I wanted to do. So that might be a good theme. We could do some aquatic craft and aquatic things. If you guys prefer for me to have a theme ahead of the stream, I can try and do that. But you let me know. Let me know what works for you. Happy Friday. All right. So I'm trying to create 3 values here. That's what I'm doing. So on the top, I'm going to use this blue-green 1. A little bit of a crisscross on this, and the crisscross is just my quick way of showing, maybe there's some fabric thing happening. Always squint your eyes, take a look, take a breather, wait for your markers to dry if you have to, so that you can establish the right contrast on your sketch, okay? Kind of what I'm doing here. My eyes are currently squinted. If you want to see what that looks like for you guys on YouTube, something like this. I'm just squinting my eyes and looking at my paper. All right. So side view, or the side of the couch rather. Make that a little darker. And then the background, like I was saying, because I have all this other stuff, I just want to clean this up, and I don't want to use a complementary color necessarily. So let's see if this green works. It might be a complete train wreck. Fish theme Friday, that's what it could be, totally. So maybe just this green here. This actually is interesting. Maybe a bit much, but create an outline here and then just shade in the background. So if you're struggling with starting and stopping your markers as you draw, chances are you just need to warm up a bit more and practice your control and speed in those warm-up exercises. That's why I do that stuff, so that I'm ready to go. You wouldn't run a marathon if you didn't, stretch, practice, all of that good stuff. Same thing with drawing. I think you kind of have to warm up and just be ready to be at your best, right? So maybe these legs are just gray. Just keep it simple. Underneath, just this little trim, just like that. Roll call. Let's do another roll call. It seems like there's more viewers now, so I'm curious where everyone's checking in from. How'd you hear about this? All that good stuff. Let me know. This is Sketch Day Live, Fridays, 9 a.m. Pacific. Sundays around midday. Trying to figure out the exact time still. Actually, I think Sundays is 7 p.m. That way we get more international audience. And then Wednesdays is the 7 p.m. So it's on Wednesday this week. Super fun. We did this really cool fun car. For those who missed it, you can find that on the YouTube. If you go to my playlists and check that out, you can find all that good stuff. So finishing touches on this, I like to add some stipples. Right, so it's just taking the pen and throwing some dots on top, like so. Super quick sketch. It may not seem quick, but it's actually quite challenging to talk and think while drawing something else at the same time, if you've ever tried that. So so yeah. All right, so there's my super quick couch thing. Riddick is checking in from Kalamazoo, Michigan. What's up? Is that Freddy? I'm trying. I see a little picture. Banger 355 is from Indiana. David Genking's been watching for years. Thank you so much. Harshid is asking, is it better to join a design studio or a design company? Let's see, design studio or a design company like Apple or Google. I guess it just depends. Depends on what you want to do. Like, if you get out of school and you jump right into footwear, chances are you're gonna do footwear forever. Fair warning. Same with car design. If you go into car design, there's certain industries that can kind of be a funnel and really keep you there, so you'll want to be mindful of that. I would say breadth of experience at the onset is definitely better than depth of experience, and then maybe after a year or two, or 3, 4, go do something more detailed and in depth. All right, I'm trying to remember. I'm just looking at the chat here. My apologies, to see what I'm gonna do next. Ghoul says he's a big fan. Thank you very much. Corey wanted a wrench. I could do a wrench. Yeah, let's just do a quick wrench. And again, thank you so much. This is fantastic. This is probably the biggest stream I've had. So thank you very much. Washing machine, hand sanitizer, toaster, rocking chair. Tons of great ideas. I will try and incorporate these in the upcoming streams, okay? All right, let's just do a quick wrench. When I do these, I like to kind of start with an ellipse and then come down a bit and then sketch out, what the handle might look like. Something like this, transition. It's not a perfect circle, like a wrench is not going to... Let's see, I'm trying to remember what these look like. Okay, so curve kind of like this, and then down. There's like a little adjustment thing right in there. This slides. Come down like so. Come down. We'll just draw through. Keep it loose. Maybe I'll have to do an overlay. And that's okay. When in doubt, rough it out is another thing I say. So if you're not really quite sure of how to do something, it's okay to do a rough sketch. And then, kind of like I did with the car, and then just go over that sketch rather, and finish it up. So, or maybe you want to change some details, that kind of thing. But this is just me thinking through, okay, how does that work again? This area here is a little bit weird, like, what are you thinking? So I can tweak all that stuff in my subsequent sketches. And the other cool thing you can do is, if you have one sketch like this, and maybe some scissors and extra time, whatever, you can actually position this sketch different places on the main page, and that'll allow you to do multiple things. This will be a fun one because I get to do some chrome. That's why I picked it. I want to do some shiny stuff for you. All right, so here, kind of like we did before, just resketch. Don't trace if you can help it. So Riddick, or Ricky, as I call him, he and I go way back. back when product design forums was a thing, and yeah, that was just forever ago. But good to see you, brother. Hopefully you're staying safe and all that good. And hopefully you're drawing, sketching every day. Anyhow, Ricky's super talented, so go follow him on Instagram, maybe, if he posts it. I don't know if he will. Alright, a little adjustment lever here, and then we'll just transition into our handle, like so. This paper, I am going to switch my recommendation from the other Copic paper that I had, because it's actually really cool as a drawing paper, and it's pretty affordable. Hey, it's good music, man. Actually, I should have Ricky, like, DJ for the next stream. That'd be fun. That'd be really fun. I feel like a lot of designers are DJs for some reason. I don't know why, but it's kind of a thing. All right, so there's one wrench, and then what I was saying is you can actually flip this paper now. Maybe even draw on the backside. So many comments. Oh my gosh! Thank you. What happened to my ID sketching channel? Asked Corey. I kind of combined ID sketching and Sketch-A-Day because I didn't want to just do ID sketching. So Sketch-A-Day kind of is ID sketching, you can think of it that way. And I am working on a book right now. I am working on streaming more, and this is kind of what I do. So it's the same thing. I just don't, like, I'm missing some things. You know, I used to have a blog where I'd post, but people don't really read blogs as much. I do want to bring back the blog, however. So if that's something you're really interested in, let me know. And maybe I'll consider it or whatever. All right, so here, like, let's say there's some other design. I'm trying to think what else we could do. It might just be the shape or texture or whatever, proportion, things like that. It might be different states of the product, but I just took the same sketch, flipped it, because now I can have, you know, a sketch page. Like, I don't know why you would do this, but let's say maybe this wrench is made to fit in tight spaces, so you have kind of this more skinny construction. Designing on the fly, which is always risky with you guys because you're sharp. You'd be like, that would never work. And then I go, I know, but it's okay. All right. Something like that. Okay, 2 wrenches, and then the fun part. We'll keep these super light and fast. Like, I'm just gonna do what's called abbreviated marker. So you just use one marker and you focus on, like, your shadow core and outline like that. Maybe the other side and a little bit of shadow, and that's it. That one's done. You could put, like, maybe a couple lines on top like that, but that's it. That's it for the marker on that one. Same thing here. Just pick a color. Go with this bright green. Could use gray as well. Shadow core. A little bit of a little bit of shadow on the inside here. The outline. A couple lines across the top. Outline, and then you're done. And then the chrome, let's focus on shadows in here, or metal if it's not chrome, but shadow, 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 outline. All right, and then now I want to kind of think of, like, okay, if there's something in the environment reflecting on this guy, what would that look like? And then that's what I would block out as my silhouette for the reflection or artifact that happens in this sketch. Get to know your markers, know how the chisel works, and then you're less likely to make those mistakes. All right. So on the top here, I'm going to use my C10 marker if I can find it. Here it is. Let me check it on the chat real quick. Thanks again for joining. This is Sketch A Day Live. Corey from Canada. Let's see. Ricardo Trinidade from Lisbon, Portugal. Welcome. Hope you guys are staying safe. Ayushi Gupta is from India. What's up? Matt Gill, NYC. Hey, hey, hey. Let's see. And Sven. Sven is asking or saying, we in car design turn the page so we can draw on the same car but with different design. Oh, yes. Yes, that makes sense. So, you know, taking this paper off, flipping it, and then making changes on both sides. I remember that from my time at GM. It's been so long, but yeah, that's definitely a thing. All right, so the reflections here, if this is chrome, I might do something like this. Okay, just a nice solid black area. And this is perhaps something in the environment that is reflecting into this wrench, like so. And you just keep it crisp, man. You may have some of that here, some of that artifacting, and yeah, that's it. Now this is some shiny chrome. And one of the challenges with shiny is it's almost tempting for me anyways to want to like shade things in or make sure I have you know, not too abrupt of a termination on that thing. But what makes chrome look shiny is it does have those harsh, sharp reflections. Occasionally you'll get some blue or other environmental colors kind of happening here. Or you could take your pencil and just create a little bit of a gradient very, very, very lightly on this. Okay, just ever so lightly. And the gradient is really just, you know, if this is in a neutral environment with a few things that are reflecting in, it's the fact that light never really hits a surface totally evenly. There's always a little bit of something going on. So the gradient is just honoring that, so to speak. Now that this orange is dry, I'll just hit it one more time, like so. And if I want to, you know, just push it a little bit, take that pencil, hit that shadow core on the handle, just like that. Maybe add a shadow on the page for this guy here. This music makes me want to dance. But yeah, just shade this in. Keep it nice and light and loose. And now I have shadow, product. Having fun, right? Notes always help. So if there's something important about this screw, you can put that in. You know, pump your line weight a little bit. This is a Pentel sign pen. I don't have this one listed in the links of the channel. Reminder, you can join the Discord if you want to drop suggestions before I go live and stream. It's a great way to do it. Send me an email, hit me up on Instagram, all that good stuff. I'll try and check or be better about checking those other ones. But right now, Discord is probably the best way because you can share images in those venues. Actually, I think this is like completely wrong, but we'll roll with it. Roll with it as our design. All right, cool. So there's my wrenches. Just like that. Boom, boom, boom. Ricky, I'm going to hit you up for some music. You can put together a playlist for me of music you've created. I'd be happy to feature that on my streams. So hit me up after. All right, so there's the wrench. Okay, one more thing. What are we going to do? Lynette says, would you say that leaving a highlight is better than adding it later? I just feel like I prefer adding in highlights rather than leaving them. You know, it's whatever works for you. I like to leave them. That's what works for me. And it seems pretty easy. So that's, yeah, for me, that works the best. All right. Thanks for joining, guys. Super fun. As always, I'll be back Sunday and Wednesday And next Friday, I'm actually going to be doing 2 streams. One will be on YouTube here on this channel, but there will be another special stream I'll be announcing at the beginning of next week. Something that I'll be doing hopefully on an ongoing basis. We'll see. Vicari's asking, how did the electronic stuff you flooded with coffee end up? Well, it's still working, so it's all good. It is totally working. So thankfully, I don't have to spend another $500 buying that stuff. Flow Monster says, I'm from France. You do crazy sketches. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Okay. F-16, F-22, Ski Mobile. I did a plane last time. I know some people were asking about a jet ski, but I think I'll combine that. Wooden wide-toothed comb. That sounds interesting, actually, and different. Matt asked, do you need to be an expert in sketching to delve into industrial design? I don't think you do. I know there's industrial designers here in the channel, so feel free to chime in as well if you guys have opinions or whatnot. All right, so we're doing a wooden wide-toothed comb, and maybe one of these is, you know, a handheld curve thing, and the other one might have a handle like this. So start with the frame, shape it out, make your transitions. You know, if somebody's gonna hold this thing, maybe having a little affordance like that could be a good thing. And then as far as the teeth go, actually this one I want to be a little bit taller. My kids hate combing their hair. It's the funniest thing. So this is like a nightmare product design for them. I have mixed kids, and so they have kind of gnarly hair. All right, wide tooth comb. So I'm just gonna do a series of lines here. Maybe this isn't wide enough. And I feel like I need kind of a guiding line, so I'm gonna throw that in. Actually, I'll go a little bit above. The beauty with line weight, color, contrast, all that stuff, and the nature of how you sketch is your mistakes can be inherently beautiful and complement your style if you're willing to just dive into it and make it your own. Like, straight up, that's kind of how it is. If you want to get really good at sketching too, definitely sketch with a pen. Because a pen never forgets and a pen doesn't forgive, and you have to work with those mistakes, okay? So I always say, practice with a pen if you want to get really good. Alright, so now I can beef up these outlines a little bit. And we're going to make this one wooden, so I need to go grab my brown markers. Maybe the handle is rubber or something. You know. Yeah, so maybe there's a separation here on the handle. Starting to round things out just a little bit. We'll add some secondary lines on the teeth. And we're kind of doing this live in the sense that, like I said, normally I would do an overlay or depending on the phase of the design project, just roll with it. In this case, we're just gonna roll with it. But sometimes sketching is just for yourself. It's not, you know, necessarily a show or anything. Like, I hate this tooth, but we'll go with it. As Dirk pointed out, I like to say, it's okay. It's okay. Alright, so for this one on top, let's do a little bit wider teeth. So I'm just going to space these out. And I'm just kind of guesstimating. These should technically be getting a bit wider as we move to the front here. I don't know if you guys can hear my kids in the background, but they're having fun right now. I was like, I'm gonna stream, so I need you guys to be quiet, but you can play Minecraft. So we're like, okay. Alright, I'm just trying to focus here because this is like somewhat repetitive, and I just want to get past this portion. of the sketch so we can start with the fun stuff. So use that link in the chat if you want to see sketches from the previous streams. That link is permanent. I do update it about an hour after the stream, after I've scanned everything, sometimes sooner, but an hour is pretty safe. That is definitely crying. So we might have a guest on the stream here in just a sec. We'll see. All right, so 2 combs, pretty quick. Woo! That's a lot of work getting those tines on the comb. What am I listening to? Asks Matt Gill. I will copy and paste that link for you right here. And let's see. Gotta go to Spotify to get that for you guys. It's just it's a copyright free stream that I use because if I share real music, Instagram, YouTube, all these wonderful companies, they kind of shut you down completely. So I have to use these royalty-free streams. All right, I gotta find my brown markers. So far they're hiding from me. Okay, blue, yellow, green, yellow, red. Got blue. I think they're over here. Neutral tones. Sorry, guys. Whew. Whew. There we go. These are my colored pencils and wide markers. I've got so much stuff. I'm actually thinking about building a studio in my backyard, which will be interesting, but that's another conversation to be had at some point. As you can imagine, cleanup is always not fun. Just because I have so many of these, but I love them and I love drawing. Okay, so now I'm going to pick some brown, and let's go with this 35, maybe this 97, 37, 39. I need one more that's dark. I think it's a 49, if I remember. 79, actually. All right, so I got some browns here. Start with the light one. This one's actually drying out. I hope I have some inks to replenish it. I like to do the outline first, as always, just to kind of establish where I'm going to be shading, and for me it kind of cleans things up. So I'll just shade these in. And it is wooden, correct? I think that was the request, so I don't mind having the texture on the markers here. You know, it's kind of inherent to something wooden, as it is. Maybe I'll shade in this direction for these guys. Yeah, crazy. I think I'm gonna need to top off this marker too. But that's what you get when you sketch every day. And that's why I like those Copic markers. No, they don't sponsor me. Not yet. Hopefully they do. That'd be awesome. But you can refill them, which is nice and delightful. And actually, with the Copic refills, even though they're expensive, so one marker is like $6, you can actually refill each marker. I think it's 10 or 11 times. So turns out it's kind of a good deal. All right, so for the tines here, I'm just gonna put some lines on. Some lines on here, as well as increase the contrast between the top and the side surfaces. So just using this darker brown marker. With the browns, I'm not as concerned about blending, again, because I'm trying to create the effect or feeling of wood grain. Doesn't have to be totally perfect, but you can see these little lines here. They're kind of representative of that wood grain, all right? And so on this one here, I guess if I were trying to be really true to wood, the grain lines would not move, but I don't necessarily like the look of that. That's why I'm cheating. Because it's sometimes drawing it's almost like you're a magician in the sense that there's some sleight of hand at play, and really you're just taking symbols and trying to use those symbols to communicate your design. So someone just needs to look at it and think wood. I don't need them to think, oh, it's a specific species of wood, or oh, hey, the grain is wrong on this, or whatever. Right? So you kind of have to pick your battles. You know, given the limitations of a medium or your tools, whatever, pick your battle and then decide on your success being, is the idea, material, or otherwise communicated in that thing. All right, let's do the handle here. So I'm just going to use this. I think this is a C6 or C4 gray. Just make that nice and filled. I want this to be matte. So just a nice wash, trying to reduce the streakiness. And then I'll take a C6. Make it a little bit darker on the side. Just blend that in, like so. Just like that. Alright. And for presentation purposes, I'm going to put a shadow in here. Just a little gray. Almost like the comb is floating on the page, you know? Not super precise or calculated, but enough to say, oh, maybe this is a drop shadow of this comb. Same thing here. I would kind of have a little drop shadow happening. And then just to finish it off, some heavier marker. Maybe next time we could draw hands together too, because I want to practice those. So that's something I'm going to start introducing in the streams, is just the things that I suck at that I need to practice. So you guys can see that practice does make better, and even I myself have things I need to work on. I am drawing with my wrist here, but I've been doing this long enough that I'm willing to take the risk of the mess up, and even then it's a short enough distance that I feel I can kind of nail it. But generally speaking, I try to draw with my shoulder and my elbow. Keep it tight, keep it fresh. Well, do you keep it tight and fresh and loose at the same time? I'm not sure. Oh, looks like I switched to my face. My bad. Okay, so there's the comb. You guys were like staring at my head the whole time. So there is one wooden comb, there's another wooden comb. Zooming in, you can kind of see what I'm talking about with the texture. Not entirely accurate, but enough to communicate what the thing is. Once again, Sketch Day Live, if you're joining for the first time, definitely hit subscribe. Turn on those alerts so that you won't miss another stream. I do go live on Wednesdays, Sundays, and Fridays. Sundays at midday, my time, which Pacific midday. Wednesdays in the evening, and Friday mornings at this time. So thanks for being a part of this. Thanks for your support. It means a lot to see so many of you here, and I think this for sure is my biggest stream that I've had, so I appreciate you joining in. If you're coming from Instagram, welcome. Check out the links in the description. There you'll find the Discord links to materials, all that good stuff right there for you. I know some of you have been asking about my brushes and when I'm going to get them out. I was hoping today, this morning before the stream, but my exhaustion as a full-time single parent actually got the better of me. So by full-time I mean I have my kids all the time. There's a story there that I'm not going to share, but yeah, it's exhausting to say the least. Maybe a little logo or something on the comb. Okay, and that's my page. I do want to put a background on. I guess I'm kind of old school that way, but we'll just do some lines like that. Just like that. Call it good. All right, guys, so let's recap what we did today. We have our wrenches. Okay, there's our wrench underlay that we used. Abbreviated marker sketching. We've got our combs that we just finished. We did a couch. We did the underlay of the car. And I don't know where I put the car. Oh, there it is. Ah. We did our car sketch here. And Also went over reflections, warmed up with ellipses. We did a lot of stuff. So thanks for hanging. I will be back on Sunday with more stuff. Thank you for your suggestions. You can always email me, spencer@sketchaday.com. Hit me up on the Discord, Instagram, all that good stuff. It's been a pleasure, and I hope I get to see you guys again on the stream. This has been the biggest stream, so thank you so much for hanging out, and we'll see you guys next time on Sketchaday. Bye, guys.